So, what happened in Amsterdam? So, a lot of people ask me what really was going on over there because a lot of confusion of what is going on here. By the way, this is your favorite half Chinese. Anyway, I have little time, so I do it while I'm cooking. So, in short, it was some kind of Euro Cup for soccer, and the people, the hooligans, came from Israel to play soccer in Amsterdam, which is weird to me because, to my belief, and correct me if I'm wrong, Israel is not in Europe. But yeah, anybody can tell me why that is because obviously I have no idea what soccer is about. I don't like the sport, all right? So, anyway, so that was part one. And then what happened was those militant hooligans, and I say militant hooligans because they all have been into the army, and as I've heard, some were also fighting in their neighbor territory. We all know which country that is, right? We all know the state that what they're doing right now. And they brought those manners over to the Netherlands. They were saying bad things about they have no schools over there because they unalived all the children in our streets, mind you. So they bring that kind of thing and mentality, what they're doing over there, to our country. Then they also start to attack people who are having something which looks like a Palestinian flag, or they were tearing down Palestinian flags from other people's home, busting their windows. They also attacked a taxi driver. And the taxi driver went to the police and asked the police, can you please help me from these militant hooligans? And the police just said no, and they didn't. And this went on and on and on, and the police didn't help the people. The people have pleaded to the police, please help us, we are under siege. It's an invasion of militant hooligans who are tearing down our city and are attacking and threatening our Dutch people. And they went specifically after Arab-looking people, right? Which many of them are Semites, right? And I don't have to tell you that we will not tolerate anti-Semitism. So, since the police didn't want to help, right? Then the people, after a while, took it into their own hands, right? You cannot let somebody riot in your country for 2 days. If this was, for instance, maybe Feyenoord, which is another soccer club in from Rotterdam, from the Netherlands, who has a bad situation with Ajax, I believe, which is from Amsterdam. If they would be doing the same, all these hooligans would have been locked up. But since they came from Israel, these hooligans, militant hooligans, I should say, were not locked up. So the people had only one choice left, and that is to defend their country, their homeland, their city, their people, right? And that is what actually was going on. And then only then the police came, but not to arrest the militant hooligans from Israel, but they came to arrest the Dutch people who were defending themselves against hooligans because our government failed to protect its own citizens. Right? That's just ridiculous. No country in the world would arrest its own people when they are defending their country and their people. Only in the Netherlands. It's so ridiculous. And now they're going to persecute those people. But the militant hooligans from Israel are already gone. They're not being captured, just put on the plane. Yeah, you're free to leave, no problem. You destroy our property, we just let the Dutch people pay for it. No problem, right? It's so ridiculous, the situation. And then the government and our media started to lie. They told us that it was an anti-Semitic attack on those militant hooligans. An anti-Semitic attack. Nobody attacked them. It was in defense. Because you can only attack somebody, you can only be the aggressor if you are the first one to attack somebody, right? Well, in this case, they were defending because it were those militant hooligans that started to attack Dutch people. That's unheard of, right? And the police didn't want to help us. The army obviously also didn't want to help us. It is the government's failure that this happened, right? It's a government's failure. But still they are saying that it is anti-Semitic. It's just so ridiculous, the whole situation. So after that, the people got even more fed up because of the lies, right? So these lies have been spread, and the people get to know that these are all lies. So they get angry and wanted to protest. And guess what? Our government, that always is preaching freedom of speech for all other nations except for the Netherlands, said you cannot protest. So what did the people do? Well, we're going to do it anyways. And that's, yeah, debatable if people should be doing that or not. But anyway, the police force was extremely, extremely harsh. It was an overextension of force. As you can see in my other video, they also were intimidating old people. It's just such a ridiculous situation. And all could have been prevented if the police would have done its job by protecting the people, especially after people are putting in their complaints and begging the police, please help me. That's something for the police. That should be a sign for the police to say, yeah, enough is enough. We need to help these Dutch people. These are our own people. Somehow, it doesn't have to be like that. Well, all right. That is actually what kind of happened in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, in short. So I hope this will help a lot of people to understand. And now they are again against our own people who were defending our nation and our people because of government failure. But they have no problem with militant Israeli hooligans who might not even be Semites, right? Because many of them are of European descent. So to get to the anti-Semite thing, Jewish people are not by definition Semites because a lot of them, especially in Israel, are from Europe. And in Europe, naturally, we don't have Semites. Palestinians, however, are Semites. So, yeah. Palestinians, by definitions, can only be Semites. So, there you go. So, indeed, there was some anti-Semitism going on, but it was not from our people. Definitely not. May people have said things in the heat of the moment because they were angry? I'm sure they would have. But everybody has been angry in a certain point of time and have said things that they don't really mean because it's just in the heat of the moment. Not that I'm saying that it is the correct way to conduct oneself. It is not. But yeah, we are just human and these things just happen. A lot of times we just say things that we just really, afterwards, when we think of it, think, yeah, I should not have said that. That just was not helpful, right? Was just not the right way to talk. It happens, right? But that doesn't mean it is an anti-Semitic attack because that definitely was not. It was it was defending the Netherlands from militant hooligans who were ransacking and destroying our beautiful city of Amsterdam and terrorizing the people. If that is not these people qualify to be a hero, right? Whoever does that for its country is a hero. In every other country, they would have been seen as a hero. Here in the Netherlands, only in the Netherlands, you will be seen as a villain. Well, that sends a clear message. I think it also sends a very clear message, and I don't condone violence. And I hope that the other hooligans of the Netherlands and of other countries, please do not come here to do these kind of things. Although it seems that our state says it is kind of okay, please don't do it, because we as civilians are the ones who are paying for it. So we would be really heartbroken to see all our property destroyed and all money going to rebuild that stuff. So that is actually what happened in Amsterdam. And then now the government in the Netherlands is attacking its own people for what happened, while the militant hooligans of Israel are just gone. They're just gone. They've been set on the plane. We make sure that you come home safely, right? This is beautiful, by the way. I made it this morning. It's like a sort of a chili oil from fresh chilies and a lot of garlic. Oh man, if you can smell it, that's delicious. Just this morning I came home and it was cooled off. It's going to be delicious. I have to close it though, because when you have these kind of things, you can never have dirt coming in, otherwise it will become sour or whatever. So that's the case. That's what happened in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. Let me know what your thoughts are. How our government, should they respond when the people are pleading them to help them from a foreign invasion of militants? Mm. Mm. Delicious. Or what do you think about these people that help the other Dutch people? Those are literally good Samaritans in my eyes, and heroes, if you ask me. They should not be persecuted. They should. I mean, let's face it. They came to aid and the people. They were helping the people. They were helping the Dutch people. They were helping the city and the country from a group of militant hooligans who were just destroying everything. Right? I'm sorry, but I understand that violence came to it, but who brought that violence over here? Who brought it over here? And they were warned, because a lot of these people have been fighting in where they come from, right? So they might be a little bit delulu right now because of PTS and all these kind of things. And we've been warned. And on the other hand, I don't know, because I don't play soccer and I never watch it, so I have no idea how it works. But this is Europe. What were they doing here in the Europe Cup? I don't understand that at all. Can China also come here to play in the Euro Cup? Anyway, just give me your thoughts. I'm going to finish this. So delicious. Let me know what your thoughts are. Keep it respectful. We don't want any nasty things in my comment section, please. We're not uncivilized barbarians. Unlike those hooligans. This was your favorite half Chinese. And as always, have a great day.